Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly offering quiet support to their cousins, Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice, who have kept an unusually low profile following their father, Andrew's arrest.
The British royal family has faced its share of storms, but few have landed as heavily as the latest controversy surrounding Prince Andrew. Amid the growing pressure, reports suggest that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are quietly stepping in to support their cousin, Princess Eugenie. So what does this unusual show of family solidarity mean for the York sisters? And could it signal a shift in how royals handle scandal? Let's dive into the surprising details behind this delicate family intervention. Harry and Meghan's secret support for Beatrice and Eugenie. When a scandal hits the royal family, the ripple rarely stops at a single person. It spreads quietly through the intricate web of relatives, friendships, and loyalties that hold the monarchy together. In moments like these, the real story isn't always the headlines. It's about who steps forward behind the scenes, who offers support, and who chooses silence. Recently, reports began circulating that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may have privately reached out to their cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, during one of the most uncomfortable periods their family has faced in years. Scrutiny surrounding their father, Prince Andrew, surged once again into international headlines, placing the York sisters under intense public pressure. Outwardly, both Beatrice and Eugenie maintained their usual calm. Appearances remained measured, statements were limited, and public composure was intact. But according to several royal insiders, behind closed doors, the emotional weight of the situation was far more complex. That's where Harry and Meghan allegedly stepped in. Sources claim the Duke and Duchess of Sussex reached out with a simple but meaningful message: support, understanding, and solidarity. For royal watchers, the gesture was not entirely surprising. Despite well-documented tensions between Harry and certain senior members of the monarchy, his relationship with his cousins has long been described as warm and genuine. Eugenie, in particular, has been considered one of Harry's closest allies within the extended family. Over the years, the pair were frequently seen laughing together at royal events, sharing private conversations at weddings, and offering support during challenging periods of royal life. When the controversy surrounding Andrew intensified again, insiders say Harry understood exactly how isolating the experience could feel for his cousins. Unlike senior royals who carry official responsibilities, Beatrice and Eugenie exist in a complicated middle ground. They are undeniably royal, yet they have limited control over the public narratives that constantly surround their family. And when scandal strikes, that lack of control becomes painfully clear. According to reports, Harry and Meghan's outreach went beyond simple words of encouragement. The couple allegedly offered something tangible, a temporary escape, specifically a place to stay at their Montecito home in California, the quiet coastal community where the Sussexes settled after stepping back from royal duties. The idea was straightforward. If media pressure in the United Kingdom became overwhelming, Beatrice and Eugenie could retreat to a private space far from the relentless cameras and commentary of the British press. Montecito, with its tree-lined streets, gated estates, and laid-back atmosphere, offers a world removed from the intense scrutiny of life inside the monarchy. Yet, as is often the case with the royal family, the situation is far more complicated than it appears. Some commentators suggest such a visit might generate more headlines than it prevents. Any sighting of Beatrice or Eugenie in California could spark speculation about divisions within the royal family, a delicate and high-stakes issue. Since Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties in 2020, their relationships with senior royals have been intensely scrutinized. Every meeting, conversation, and rumored visit is analyzed for hidden meaning. In that context, even a simple act of family support can be interpreted as dramatic. Still, these reports reveal a key insight about the quieter relationships inside the monarchy. Amid the public narratives of conflict and palace tension, some bonds have endured. The connection between Harry and his cousins appears to be one of them. For Beatrice and Eugenie, recent years have demanded careful navigation. They have continued building personal lives, raising families, and pursuing careers, all while staying linked to a royal institution under constant scrutiny. And when crises emerge, those personal bonds can become incredibly important. Whether the sisters ever seriously considered traveling to California remains unknown. Royals rarely confirm such private discussions, and most details come from anonymous insiders. Yet this story highlights something deeper. Even in one of the world's most scrutinized families, personal loyalty and support can still exist, and sometimes quietly shift the course of events behind the headlines. And in the middle of all this tension, another surprising twist is emerging. Reports suggest that Prince Harry and Meghan may be quietly encouraging their cousin to take a step that could spark serious waves inside the royal family. So, what exactly are they urging her to do? And could it trigger a brand new royal crisis? Stay with us as we uncover the shocking details. Royal secrets. Harry and Meghan push York sisters. Inside the royal family, silence has always been the preferred approach when scandal hits. For generations, the rule was simple: endure the headlines, avoid public responses, and wait for the storm to pass. But in recent years, that tradition appears to be cracking. According to multiple reports, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may now be encouraging a very different path for Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Instead of staying silent, the Sussexes are rumored to be advising the York sisters to do something the monarchy rarely welcomes: speak openly about their own experiences. The idea is simple in concept, but potentially explosive in effect. Rather than letting years of speculation, media narratives, and royal gossip define them, Beatrice and Eugenie could tell their story in their own words. Insiders suggest Harry and Meghan believe this might be the only way for the sisters to reclaim control of their public image. This advice comes at a particularly challenging time for the York family. Renewed attention on Prince Andrew has once again dragged the sisters into headlines they never wanted. Every public appearance, personal milestone, and family event is now viewed through the shadow of ongoing controversy. This creates a difficult reality. They are not senior working royals with carefully managed public duties, yet they are not private citizens who can disappear from the spotlight. They exist in the uncomfortable middle ground of royal life, where public perception can become incredibly powerful. In that context, Harry and Meghan's advice begins to make sense. Having broken with royal tradition themselves, the couple openly shared their side of the story through high-profile interviews and media projects, changing the way the public views the monarchy's internal struggles. So it's not surprising that Harry and Meghan might suggest a similar strategy for their cousins. According to multiple reports, the Sussexes have even offered practical support. Sources claim they would be willing to introduce Beatrice and Eugenie to publishing agents, media representatives, or interview platforms if the sisters ever decided to share their story publicly. In today's media landscape, such a move could take many forms: a memoir, a carefully structured interview, or even a documentary-style project exploring their lives growing up inside one of the world's most scrutinized families. The potential to reclaim their narrative is significant, but so is the risk. While Harry and Meghan may view openness as a path to freedom and self-definition, other members of the royal family reportedly see it as a serious threat. Prince William, in particular, is said to take a hard line when it comes to the York sisters' role in the monarchy. With the institution already under intense public scrutiny, there is heightened caution over who represents the crown and how closely individuals connected to controversy remain linked to official royal duties. From this perspective, Beatrice or Eugenie openly telling their story could create complications the monarchy cannot easily manage. The palace has always relied on discipline, restraint, and carefully controlled narratives. Personal revelations, especially those involving internal family tensions, can quickly spiral into global headlines. William, who is widely seen as focused on protecting the monarchy's long-term stability, reportedly believes that maintaining strict boundaries around royal representation is essential. This creates a delicate divide. On one side is Harry's philosophy: speak honestly, reclaim your voice, and challenge the systems that control the narrative. On the other side is William's approach: protect the institution, limit exposure, and prevent further damage to the crown's image. Caught in the middle are Beatrice and Eugenie. For years, the sisters have balanced loyalty to their family with independent lives, building careers, starting families, and keeping relatively low profiles. Yet no matter how carefully they navigate public life, their father's controversies continue to follow them. If the Sussexes are truly encouraging them to speak out, it could mark a turning point. Publicly sharing their story might allow Beatrice and Eugenie to separate themselves from their father's scandals, but it could also ignite a new wave of tension within the royal family, especially if senior figures see such openness as a threat to the monarchy's fragile balance. To understand why Harry and Meghan are reaching out now, one must look at the historical closeness between Harry and his cousins. Because long before these rumors about memoirs and interviews began circulating, one relationship inside the royal family had already proven unusually strong. Let's delve into the details. The spare cousins, Harry and Eugenie's unbreakable bond. Long before the world knew about Megxit, a unique bond existed among the younger generation of the royal family: Prince Harry, Princess Beatrice, and Princess Eugenie. They shared the rare position of being blood royals, who were not direct heirs to the throne. In royal circles, they were often referred to as the perpetual spares to Prince William's heir, a label that brought both privilege and pressure in equal measure. It was a space where competition for public attention and expectation was less intense, but the need to carve out identity and loyalty remained profound. Growing up, the trio was inseparable at family gatherings, official events, and private celebrations. Harry, Beatrice, and Eugenie often supported each other behind the scenes, sharing experiences that few outside the family could understand. For Harry, this meant having allies who truly comprehended the peculiar tension of life inside the firm without being its primary focus. For the York sisters, it meant having a cousin who could empathize with the struggle of being scrutinized for choices and behaviors largely beyond their control. Their closeness became even more visible after Harry and Meghan Markle stepped back from royal duties and relocated to California. In that period of dramatic change, Eugenie was reportedly the first, and possibly the only, member of the royal family to visit them publicly, appearing in moments captured by media coverage and featured in the couple's Netflix documentary. That visit was more than a family call. It was a demonstration of trust, loyalty, and understanding. Eugenie, by choosing to publicly support her cousins during a period of intense scrutiny, showed she understood the isolation and criticism that often accompany a life straddling private desire and public expectation. Now, in the midst of renewed headlines surrounding their father, Prince Andrew, the York sisters find themselves under intense scrutiny once again. Reports suggest that Harry and Meghan have reached out to offer the kind of support only someone who has experienced life on the outside, while still bearing the weight of royal identity, can provide. Sources describe their outreach as a combination of practical guidance and emotional solidarity, words of encouragement, a listening ear, and even advice about managing the overwhelming media attention that seems inevitable whenever Andrew's name reappears in the headlines. The connection between Harry and the York sisters is particularly significant because it extends beyond mere familial ties. Their relationship has always been rooted in mutual understanding and shared experience. While many senior royals maintain distance or carefully curate public interactions, this trio's bond has been candid and authentic. They have laughed together at royal functions, confided in each other during personal struggles, and supported one another when the institution's demands threatened to overshadow individual identity. It's a relationship built on trust, empathy, and a recognition of the emotional complexities inherent in being spare royals, close enough to witness the monarchy's inner workings, yet far enough removed to experience both freedom and marginalization. Harry's willingness to support Beatrice and Eugenie now can be seen as a direct extension of that core relationship. Just as Eugenie offered visible support after Megxit, Harry is reciprocating in a moment when they need guidance and reassurance the most. Meghan, too, has reportedly been involved in these conversations, providing both practical advice and emotional support. For the sisters, who cannot fully escape the glare of the media nor the historical baggage of their family name, Harry and Meghan's outreach represents a rare space of understanding and security, a reminder that even in the most public of lives, private bonds can endure and strengthen. Moreover, the trio's bond highlights the subtle politics within the royal family. While the spotlight often focuses on senior figures and direct heirs, these spare royals navigate a world of informal influence, delicate alliances, and behind-the-scenes negotiation. Their closeness demonstrates how personal relationships can intersect with institutional expectations, providing insight into how support networks operate in an environment dominated by hierarchy and tradition. In many ways, the bond between Harry, Beatrice, and Eugenie embodies a quiet defiance, a reminder that loyalty, empathy, and solidarity can persist even under the weight of scrutiny, scandal, and protocol. Even with support, the York sisters face mounting pressures as their father's legal troubles dominate headlines. Being royal isn't just about titles or privilege, it's about managing perception, protecting personal lives, and navigating controversy. For Eugenie, the impact has been deeply personal. But how far could these challenges push her, and what choices lie ahead? Now, let's explore the real-world impact. Andrew's scandal sparks royal fallout. For Princess Eugenie, life in the royal spotlight has always been a delicate balancing act. Unlike senior royals who carry official duties and ceremonial responsibilities, Eugenie has carved a quieter path, pursuing a career, engaging in charitable work, and creating a life that blends independence with tradition. Yet even this carefully managed existence has been repeatedly disrupted by the controversies surrounding her father, Prince Andrew. What seemed like a private family challenge has repeatedly become a public ordeal, leaving her personal and professional decisions under intense scrutiny. Most recently, Eugenie faced a particularly difficult moment when she stepped down from her role as patron of a prominent anti-slavery charity. According to reports, the move came amid renewed media attention and public discussions surrounding her father's past associations. For many observers, this step was not just a routine career adjustment, but a reflection of how deeply Andrew's controversies continue to ripple across the royal family. Decisions that should be about personal passion or professional commitment are instead filtered through the lens of public perception, reputation management, and the complicated dynamics of being a royal in the modern age. The impact of stepping back from the charity is significant on multiple levels. On one hand, it shields Eugenie and the organization from being drawn into a media storm that could overshadow their work. Anti-slavery advocacy is a critical cause, demanding focus, credibility, and public trust. On the other hand, her withdrawal is a visible reminder of how royal family members, even those who maintain distance from direct duties, cannot escape the consequences of a relative's actions. Every headline about Andrew triggers public debate, and for Eugenie, the charity role had become yet another arena where personal integrity and family legacy collided. Amid this pressure, the role of Harry and Meghan Markle becomes even more meaningful. Their previous outreach to the York sisters, offering emotional support, guidance, and practical advice, takes on new weight in light of Eugenie's forced professional adjustments. Reports suggest the Sussexes continue to provide encouragement and solidarity, reminding Eugenie that she is not alone while navigating the treacherous intersection of personal responsibility and public judgment. This is not just cousinly concern, it is a recognition of shared experience, having faced their own intense scrutiny after stepping back from royal duties in 2020. The empathy comes from knowing what it is like to be judged by association while trying to maintain an authentic public identity. For Eugenie, stepping down may also be an act of protection, a way to temporarily regain control over her life amid chaos that feels largely imposed upon her. But it raises broader questions about the limitations placed on royals in the modern era. Even well-intentioned work, carefully planned appearances, and meaningful personal projects are subject to the ever-watchful eye of the media, the public, and the institution itself. In this sense, Eugenie's withdrawal highlights a recurring tension, the desire to live a purposeful life versus the constraints imposed by familial legacy and public expectation. This episode also underscores how the ripple effects of Andrew's scandals continue to shape the paths of his children. Beatrice and Eugenie have long navigated these pressures with composure, yet every new revelation or renewed headline carries tangible consequences. influencing career opportunities, public roles, and even social interactions. And in the midst of this, their cousins, particularly Harry, remain some of the few figures offering an empathetic, understanding perspective. Their support is a reminder that loyalty and connection can persist, even when institutional pressures threaten to overwhelm. The broader picture here is clear. The scandal surrounding Andrew is not a fleeting event confined to the past. Its consequences are ongoing, affecting the youngest generation of the family and their ability to define themselves outside of controversy. Every public decision, charitable commitment, or professional move is shadowed by this context, leaving Eugenie and Beatrice constantly negotiating both legacy and autonomy. As Eugenie steps away from her charity work, a bigger question arises. How long will the York sisters have to reshape their lives over a scandal they didn't create? How far-reaching has Prince Andrew's controversy been on the royal family? And why does it seem to keep resurfacing? Stay tuned as we uncover every detail. Andrew scandal's shadow. The scandal surrounding Prince Andrew has proven to be one of the most enduring controversies in modern royal history. What began as isolated headlines regarding his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in the early 2000s escalated dramatically over the years, forcing the royal family to take unprecedented action. In 2019, amid intense public backlash and growing scrutiny, Andrew stepped back from all public duties. This decision was described as necessary to protect the reputation of the monarchy, but it also marked a turning point, highlighting how personal actions could reverberate far beyond the individual involved. By stepping aside, Andrew attempted to shield the institution, but the consequences of his choices continued to ripple through the royal family, affecting both senior and junior members alike. For the York sisters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the fallout has been particularly challenging. Their father's high-profile controversies mean that their actions and public appearances are constantly viewed through a lens of caution and suspicion, even as they build independent lives, pursue careers, and engage in charitable work. Andrew's shadow looms large. Every decision is weighed not just for its intrinsic value, but also for its potential to draw renewed attention to past scandals. The sisters' struggles reflect a broader reality within the monarchy. Personal missteps can impose long-term obligations on relatives who must navigate the complicated terrain of loyalty, public perception, and family reputation. The media's role in keeping the Andrews scandal alive cannot be overstated. Even years after the initial revelations, court documents, investigative journalism, and royal commentary continually bring the issue back into the public eye. High-profile interviews, legal filings, and leaked communications ensure that the story never truly fades. As a result, the public, press, and social media remain fixated on developments, creating a cycle in which past controversies are perpetually resurfaced and new angles are explored. Reports suggest that journalists and commentators view every family engagement, charitable initiative, or official appearance by Beatrice, Eugenie, or Andrew himself as potential news, keeping the story alive even in periods of relative quiet. One reason the scandal shows no sign of ending is the ongoing legal and financial entanglements linked to Epstein and associated cases. Court proceedings, settlement discussions, and witness testimonies have introduced new layers to an already complex narrative. Each revelation reignites global interest and sparks renewed debate about the accountability of royals. The combination of legal scrutiny and relentless media coverage ensures that Andrew's past remains a topic of discussion and analysis, making it nearly impossible for the York sisters to exist outside its shadow. This sustained attention also underscores the precarious balance the royal family must maintain between privacy and public duty. While Andrew's stepping back was intended to protect the monarchy, it also created a lasting vulnerability. The family's response demonstrates how scandals affecting one member can redefine public expectations for the entire household, forcing even those not directly involved to tread carefully in both personal and public life. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the constant return of Andrew-related headlines has intensified pressure to manage their own public images meticulously. Their every move is analyzed, and even minor personal or professional decisions are framed within the context of their father's actions. This dynamic explains why Harry and Meghan Markle's support, offering guidance and understanding, is so vital. They are among the few in the extended family who have experienced similar scrutiny and understand what it feels like to navigate life under an unrelenting media microscope. Now, the focus has turned to a new question. Could rising public empathy for the York sisters change how they are seen, or will their father's shadow continue to shape their story? Keep watching as we dive into the latest revelations and uncover what's really being said about them. The public sympathy factor. Despite the persistent media storm surrounding their father, Prince Andrew, Princess Beatrice, and Princess Eugenie have garnered significant public sympathy over the years. Observers and commentators alike frequently emphasize that the sisters should not be held accountable for the actions of their father, whose controversies have repeatedly dominated global headlines. Unlike Andrew, Beatrice and Eugenie have sought to carve out lives of their own, building careers, engaging in charitable endeavors, and striving to maintain a degree of independence within the royal family. Yet, despite their personal accomplishments and efforts to maintain a low profile, they remain inextricably linked to his past. Their public personas often judged through the prism of scandal. The sympathy for the York sisters is rooted in several key factors. Firstly, both Beatrice and Eugenie have consistently demonstrated professionalism and composure in the face of relentless scrutiny. While their father's actions have made international news, the sisters have rarely allowed the controversy to define their public behavior. They attend official engagements, support charitable causes, and participate in family events with dignity and restraint. Observers note that their ability to navigate such intense pressure while maintaining grace and poise is evidence of resilience, and it has earned them admiration from the public and media alike. Secondly, their youth and relative distance from Andrew's controversial decisions further amplify public empathy. Neither sister was involved in the actions that led to widespread outrage, and both have expressed the challenges of growing up under the shadow of their father's reputation. Commentators often highlight that they are, in many ways, victims of circumstance, burdened with a familial legacy that has made personal and professional life more complicated than most people can imagine. This understanding has led many to defend the sisters, emphasizing that they should be judged on their own merits rather than being unfairly associated with Andrew's transgressions. Another factor contributing to public sympathy is the way the media often frames the sisters' experiences. Stories frequently emphasize their charitable work, professional achievements, and personal milestones, reminding audiences that they are active, accomplished women, rather than mere extensions of their father's scandal. High-profile appearances, such as Beatrice's role in business consulting or Eugenie's engagement in the art world, demonstrate that both women have sought to define themselves independently. Coverage of their personal resilience, coupled with occasional glimpses of candid family moments, has humanized them in the eyes of the public, making it difficult to view them solely through the lens of controversy. Moreover, the timing and nature of Andrew's scandals have played a role in shaping sympathy. Many of the most severe revelations occurred after Beatrice and Eugenie had already begun establishing themselves in adulthood, careers, and family life. As a result, public sentiment often separates the sisters from their father's decisions, seeing them as individuals navigating a complex and challenging legacy. The contrast between their steady conduct and the tumultuous backdrop of their father's public life reinforces the perception that they deserve compassion rather than judgment. Finally, the continued support from extended family members, including cousins like Prince Harry, has also highlighted their vulnerability and resilience, further deepening public empathy. Reports that Harry and Meghan Markle have offered support, guidance, and reassurance during these turbulent times underscore that even within royal circles, the sisters are not immune to the personal strain caused by Andrew's actions. In conclusion, the public sympathy surrounding Beatrice and Eugenie is a testament to their composure, independence, and the recognition that they are not responsible for their father's past. Their ability to maintain personal and professional integrity amidst intense scrutiny continues to earn admiration and compassion, reminding the world that even within the glare of royal life, character and resilience can inspire genuine respect. So, what's your take on this show of support? Could it actually stir up new tensions within the palace walls? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.